Have you ever walked away from a conversation feeling strange, like something inside you lost, even though you said everything you wanted to say? Maybe you tried to explain yourself, defend your point, or prove that you were right. Yet somehow, the louder the conversation became, the smaller you felt. Maybe you were interrupted. Maybe someone mocked you. Or maybe the other person simply dominated the room with confidence that looked powerful on the outside, but felt empty on the inside. And in those moments, you might have thought that staying quiet meant you were weak, that silence meant surrender. But what if the truth is the complete opposite? What if silence is actually one of the most powerful forms of strength a person can possess? Many of us grow up believing that every disagreement must be fought with words. We are taught that if someone challenges us, we must defend ourselves immediately. If someone criticizes us, we must respond. If someone argues with us, we must win. But think about it for a moment. How many arguments have you ever truly won? Even when you prove your point, does the other person really change their mind? Most of the time, arguments are not about truth at all. They are about ego. They are about people protecting their pride and trying to feel superior. One philosopher understood this long ago. He believed that people who constantly argue are often revealing something deeper about themselves. When someone desperately tries to convince others, it often means they are trying to convince themselves. Words become armor for insecurity. Arguments become battlefields for fragile egos. And once you step into that battlefield, you are already playing a game that drains your energy. That is where silence becomes powerful. Silence is not emptiness. Silence is presence. When you refuse to react immediately, something interesting happens. The entire dynamic of the conversation changes. Instead of you trying to prove something, the other person suddenly feels the pressure. They start wondering what you are thinking. They begin questioning themselves. The silence becomes uncomfortable for them, not for you. Think about it. When someone argues with you and you stay calm, really calm, not defensive, not emotional, just quiet and observant, it unsettles them. Humans expect reactions. We expect resistance, explanations, or emotional responses. When those reactions disappear, people are forced to face their own words without distraction. And often, that makes them reveal far more than they intended. Silence also gives you something incredibly valuable: control. When we react emotionally, we lose control of ourselves. Words spill out too quickly. Anger takes over. Pride speaks louder than wisdom. But when you pause and choose silence, you create space between emotion and action. That space is where true strength lives. While others rush to fill the air with explanations, you observe. You notice the small things people usually miss. The hesitation in someone's voice, the contradiction in their argument, the insecurity hidden behind arrogance. When you listen carefully, you begin to understand people far better than they understand themselves. And suddenly the conversation is no longer chaotic. It becomes clear. But silence is not about being passive. It is not about allowing others to disrespect you. There is a huge difference between silent strength and silent submission. Silent submission is when you stay quiet because you are afraid, because you want to avoid conflict, because you feel smaller than the other person. Silent strength is completely different. It is when you choose not to react, because you know you do not need to prove anything, and that choice is incredibly powerful. Imagine a person who does not feel the need to defend every opinion, a person who is not shaken by criticism, a person who can sit calmly while others argue around them. That kind of presence commands respect without demanding it. People sense it immediately. Confidence that is quiet often feels more powerful than confidence that needs to shout. Psychology even explains why silence can be so unsettling. When someone speaks and receives no immediate reaction, their brain starts filling the gap with assumptions. They begin wondering if they said something wrong. They wonder if they were understood. They wonder if they exposed something about themselves. In that moment, their own thoughts start working against them. Meanwhile, the silent person remains grounded. This is why manipulators dislike silence. Manipulation depends on emotional reactions. It depends on pushing someone into defending themselves or feeling guilty. But when you refuse to react emotionally, the manipulator loses their leverage. Without your response, their strategy collapses. But mastering silence takes practice. Our instincts often push us to respond quickly. We want to correct people. We want to defend our image. We want to explain ourselves. Learning to pause instead of reacting requires discipline. The first step is simple but difficult. When you feel the urge to react immediately, pause. Take a breath. Let the moment exist without rushing to fill it with words. Often you will realize that the response you wanted to give was not necessary at all. The second step is observation. Instead of thinking about what you will say next, truly listen. Pay attention not only to the words being spoken, but also to the emotions behind them. People reveal a lot when they talk for too long. The third step is patience. Silence sometimes creates tension, and that tension can feel uncomfortable. But that tension is also powerful. The longer you remain calm, the more the emotional energy shifts away from you and onto the other person. And finally, when you do speak, speak with intention. One clear sentence delivered calmly can have more impact than 10 emotional arguments. Words become stronger when they are chosen carefully rather than thrown impulsively. Now, if this idea is resonating with you so far, take a second to support the channel by liking this video and subscribing. It really helps the channel grow and allows me to continue creating videos like this for you. Now, here is the deeper truth. Silence is not just a strategy for conversations. It is a reflection of self-mastery. When you no longer feel the need to constantly defend yourself, it means you have become secure in who you are. You are no longer chasing approval. You are no longer trying to control what others think of you. And that kind of freedom is rare. Look at your own life for a moment. How many times have you spoken just to avoid being misunderstood? How many times have you tried to explain yourself to people who were never truly listening? How many arguments drained your energy without improving anything? Sometimes the most powerful move is simply choosing not to play the game. That doesn't mean you never speak up. It means you choose your moments carefully. It means you refuse to waste your voice on noise. It means your words become meaningful because they are not constant. True strength is not measured by how loudly someone can argue. It is measured by how calmly someone can remain in the middle of chaos. So the next time you find yourself in a heated conversation, remember this: you don't have to react immediately. You don't have to prove your worth. Your silence can say more than any argument ever could. And when you master that silence, something incredible happens. People begin to feel your presence even when you are not speaking. Your calm becomes your authority. Your patience becomes your power. Because in a world full of noise, the person who controls their silence controls the room. And that is a strength very few people ever learn.